Hi everybody, welcome to your video detailing the determination of an activity series lab. Our game plan today is to go through and see if we can experimentally confirm some of the things we know about the activity series. So as you know, you have a sheet with the activity series listed here on the left-hand side, and we know that as you go up in the activity series, the reactivity of different metals in single displacement reactions increases. So we're going to look specifically today at 4 metals. We're going to look at zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, and you can see those listed down the side here. Now, in addition to those 4 metals, we're going to react them with various solutions, so copper 2 sulfate, iron 2 sulfate, magnesium sulfate, and zinc chloride. And I would strongly recommend that you have this data table out as we proceed through the lab so that you can record observations. You'll notice that some boxes are X'd out down the side, and you'll also notice that the reason we have those is because this box would be the reaction between zinc and zinc chloride, and of course zinc won't replace itself because nothing would really happen in that case. So that's why we have some X's going on. So you guys have out this data sheet. I am going to show you these metals in real life. So here I have a nice little reaction setup. We'll get a little bit closer to it. And on our reaction setup, this mimics what you see on your data table. So we have 3 pieces of zinc across the top, and then an empty spot. We have magnesium, magnesium, empty spot, magnesium. We've got iron in this row. We've got copper in the bottom row, and again, the empty spots where we don't want to complete the reaction. Now, in this type of reaction, we're looking for 2 pieces of evidence of a chemical reaction. Number 1, we're looking for the evolution of a gas. So if we see bubbles, that is going to be really important for us. And furthermore, we're looking for a color change. The gas will happen really quickly. It'll happen right as we add the solution. The color change may take a little bit of time. So on this video, you're going to be looking in particular for the evolution of a gas. All right, I'm going to start with copper 2 sulfate. Here is my pipette full of copper 2 sulfate, and my copper 2 sulfate is going to go into all of these different metals like you can see on your paper. So when I add the copper 2 sulfate to the zinc, we don't see anything happen initially. When I add copper 2 sulfate to the magnesium, hard to see on the video, but we actually have some bubbles being given off on the side of that magnesium. So again, it's difficult to see. I can kind of angle this up so you can see those bubbles being released on the right side of the well there. So we do indeed see bubbles. That's good evidence of a chemical reaction. You'll want to jot that down. And then furthermore, we will add the copper 2 sulfate into the iron. And I'm not really going to comment on these first 2 yet because we're going to let them change color over time. All right, so that was copper 2 sulfate. Let's come through with our iron 2 sulfate down this column. We again are going to put some on the zinc. When I add iron 2 sulfate to the magnesium, you again see bubbles. So I know that's again hard to see on the camera, but there are indeed bubbles, particularly at the bottom of that well plate. You can kind of see those bubbles being released. There it goes. Up to the top, you can see it's fizzing kind of like a soft drink. And we'll also add that iron 2 or ferrous sulfate to the copper. Same thing with magnesium. We'll go on top of zinc. We'll go on the iron. We'll go on the copper. We'll look for color changes here momentarily. And furthermore, let's deal with the zinc chloride coming into the magnesium. So again, on magnesium, let's look for bubbles. And in fact, you can see them there. So you can see bubbles kind of coming out of all of the pieces of magnesium in every single one of those wells. In fact, they're kind of moving around. Good evidence that gas is being released. I can put magnesium on the iron, and I can put magnesium on the copper. Now you'll notice that I spoke quite a bit about the magnesium. And in fact, in every single one of these cases, the magnesium with copper 2 sulfate is showing bubbles. Magnesium with iron 2 sulfate is showing bubbles, and magnesium with the zinc chloride is showing bubbles. So in all of those cases, we know that a reaction is occurring, and that's evidenced by the gas being released. The other boxes you may be starting to see already, but some of these actually end up taking some time as they go along. So I actually started one of these earlier, and I'm going to show you what it looks like now, so that we can start to see whether anything has happened. So here's my well plate that I started a little bit earlier, and we can see what has happened. So I know it's a little bit hard to see in the video. We do have a color change here in the first box. So things have become kind of black in color on the zinc. We know in the magnesium row we had bubbles there, so that one has a reaction as well, and there's also some brownish color change there in addition. And then down here on the iron, we again kind of have like a reddish brown color change that we're seeing. Up here, when we have the mix of zinc and ferrous sulfate, this also changed color. It's hard to see, but it's gotten much lighter. The color of the zinc has gotten much lighter here. Down here on this magnesium, we had bubbles, and we also see a color change, again, to kind of like an orangish brown. And then down here, when we had the ferrous sulfate with the copper, we see no reaction. Nothing happened to that piece of copper. Up here, we had magnesium sulfate with zinc. Again, no reaction here. The zinc is just sitting in the pool of magnesium sulfate. We've got nothing in this box. This box looks like something happened, but in fact, it's just iron sitting on the bottom, and then the magnesium sulfate is sitting on top. So even though these two boxes look different, they actually, neither one has a reaction, so there's no reaction going on in here. And then also, there was no reaction with the copper. The copper is still how it looks. Now, there was nothing in the top box. We did see bubbles here. I know it doesn't look like much right now, but there were bubbles on that magnesium, so we did see evidence of reaction there. This iron, again, is unchanged. It's just submerged under some zinc chloride. So even though these look different, actually neither one of them have a reaction. It's just a product of the color of the solution that we added to them. And then down here, this copper also looks the same as it started. So again, no evidence of a reaction there. So with that in mind, hopefully you have your results. We can go through and we can think about how those results impact the activity series and think about the reactivity of zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper as compared to one another. Have a good day, everyone.